Yeah, they had a sign. They had a sign up that said, "LeBron won Kuzma his ring." And I said, without LeBron, Cleveland wouldn't be shit. So, they chose violence, and I just kept going. So, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Cool. Just to be clear, when you say they didn't touch your
not violence, but they were just talking too much.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mack, and tonight our Cleveland Cavaliers absolutely beat the brakes off of a Washington Wizards team to the tune of 140-101. Oh my gosh, what a victory. A lot of different storylines here. It was an absolute ass whooping of the highest order, and honestly, everyone, and I mean everybody, got in on the action. The floodgates officially opened as Cleveland drilled 20 triples for just the second time this season. The other was a matchup against the Utah Jazz, if you guys don't remember, just about 2 weeks ago. And what better way to kick off this reaction pod than to discuss the discourse surrounding one Mack Strus, Cleveland's prized addition in this offseason. Dude was absolutely amazing tonight on his way to 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, 1 steal. And the highlight of the show, he drilled 6 of his 8 3-point attempts. Now, here's the thing with Strus. Like, seen a ton of discourse surrounding him and this shooting slump that he's been in. And I think people just need to be reminded that shooters will go through slumps. You're not going to knock down 100% of your shots, especially when you're being called upon to do things that you don't normally do. And let me just address the elephant in the room. You guys see I have my daughter in my hand right now. The struggle is real. I'm trying to get this content out, obviously. But yes, Mack Strus, absolutely wonderful tonight. Couldn't be any more of a palate cleanser for him as he's been struggling to shoot as of late. But tonight he came out with the confidence. He was shooting well. He drove to the basket pretty well. He moved the ball like he typically does. And here's the thing with him. Like, I don't see any difference in what he did tonight versus what he's been doing these last couple of games, or really this season in general. He's doing the same things. The shot just wasn't falling before. Tonight, against this absolutely awful Wizards team, they did, right? Things fell for him tonight, and I couldn't be any happier for him. And I seriously hope that this changes the public perception around him, because I've been seeing some wild things, man. Honestly, I've been seeing some wild things surrounding Mack Strus just from the comment section of some of these videos and podcasts and just stuff on social media that's just ridiculous. Like, why can we just not enjoy the fact that this man is shouldering a gargantuan load in regards to a specific things? You don't have Darius Garland out there, and in the absence of Darius Garland, he's been called upon to play make a little bit more. In the absence of Evan Mobley, who had been developing a solid chemistry with, especially in the DHO, something he's doing with Jarrett Allen as well right now. But Mack Strus has been called upon to do a lot more than he normally does. And so the other stats really across the board are up. The only thing that's down is the shooting. And so tonight obviously is going to help the shooting stats. As Tune In One says down here, people overreact after every game. They really do. I'm, we're all fans here, right? We're all guilty of doing it. We all do it. I'm not going to try and do so too much tonight, because we just beat the fuck out of a absolutely atrocious Washington Wizards team who, just got run off the floor. And this, mind you, is without Darius Garland. This is without Evan Mobley. Just a good feeling. I knew we were going to kick some ass tonight, but I didn't quite think that we were going to shit on them like this. Like, I did not see a 40 something point victory tonight. And I did not see us detonating from the 3-point line, which is absolutely wonderful considering just how piss poor this team as a whole has shot this season, right? Been getting good looks, just haven't been knocking the shots down. And when you just, you could really just take a scroll down your screen, whatever app you're using or however you view the game, and look at the box score tonight. You just, it's insane. Max Strus drilled 6 3-pointers. Donovan Mitchell was 4 of 9 from the field. Isaac Okoro hit a 3. Sam Merrill, who I'll talk about in a minute, was 3 of 9. Dude is an absolute flamethrower, by the way. George Niang, he had started the season off pretty rough and then started to round things out and then went through another shooting slump himself. And tonight he got back on track as well. 3 of 7 from 3-point distance. Caris LeVert, my gosh, just absolutely detonating over these past couple of games off that bench. 21 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Cavs just got a little bit of everything going. And they were able to empty the bench tonight. I loved it. And there's just not a ton to complain about in regards to this performance. And as Tune In says down here, people overreact after every game. Tonight is a game in which the Cavs played a team that they should have beaten, right? So I can't get too hype, but I do feel good to get a W. All wins are not created equal. Some will be, some will be blowouts. Some will be ones where we have to hustle and scrape by to get through. But tonight was, the former. We were able to go out and obliterate the opponent, and that felt really good. It really did. It had to feel good for just about everybody across the board. And I know we're all sitting here, feeling really, really good about the games that Sam Merrill and Max Strus had. But to me, the star of the show, as he has been over these past couple of games, is none other than the Texas product, Jarrett Allen. This dude, oh my gosh, he has just been on a tear. The Cavs, mind you, the Cavs are now 7-3 and 56-34 overall when Jarrett Allen has attempted 10 or more field goal attempts. Please, please, JB, for the love of God, continue to get Jarrett Allen involved. Just, I don't know what you have to do. And I get that when Darius, Garland, and Evan Mobley come back, things are going to change up a little bit. The opportunities for him, the field goal attempts are not going to be as flush. But please, JB, find a way to get this man involved, because when he has been absolutely destroying the opposition. Over Jarrett Allen's last 5 games, I want you guys to take a look at this. Over his last 5 games, Jarrett Allen has averaged 21.2 points, 16.4 rebounds, 6 assists. Looking like freaking Nikola Jokic out there. 1 block, and he's completing 65.6% of his field goal attempts. This is unfucking believable. Jarrett Allen is not known as a playmaker. He has never been known as a facilitator. And to be honest with you, a lot of his looks are coming off of DHOs, and he's setting a lot of devastating screens out there. But my God, he's just seeing the floor so well. He's finding cutters out there. He's hitting guys in stride out in the perimeter, out of the short roll. They're just, the vision is impeccable during this stretch. It's very Jokic-like. Obviously, you're never going to see him bring the ball up the floor. You're never going to see him go out there and, handle like you do with some of today's modern big men. But nevertheless, 6 assists per game, average over 5 games. Hell yeah, I'll take that any day of the week. Let the guy continue to cook. It's just unbelievable production, man. And as I see James Nalo says down here, JA All-Star 2024. I'd love to see it. If he continues this stretch, obviously the voting has to pick up, right? But if he continues this stretch, you got to kind of put him in, right? Yeah, he's not only looked like an all-star, James, he's looked like a fucking MVP caliber candidate. I love it, man. It's brilliance out of that center position. And my God, I tweeted this out just a couple of moments ago, but there are not a lot of feelings that are better than seeing Jarrett Allen ball out after so many Cavs fans, not just NBA fans, Cavs fans specifically, that wanted to see Allen's ass shipped out of town after that after that New York series. And I get it. Like, he got overplayed against Mitchell Robinson, and it was not a good look, right? It was definitely not a good look. It left a lot of people feeling like Jarrett Allen is soft when honestly, we've seen him take a noted effort to take his game to the next level. The toughness, if you're still questioning that, I don't know what more you want from the guy. Like, there are going to be certain matchups where he does look like he doesn't have the physicality to quite match up with whoever he's out there against. But man, this is just phenomenal play across the board, and I couldn't feel better for him at this point in time, considering just a lot of slander that he took this past offseason. And I'm just really happy for him, man. I could not be any happier for one Jarrett Allen right now. Elsewhere on the court, you had Sam Merrill, as I said before, just looking like an absolute flamethrower. And this is a question, I was just on Fear the Fro pod, a question that I posed for Bob Schmidt over there. When the Cavs return to full strength, right? When you do get Darius Garland back, when you do get Evan Mobley back, who's the odd man out? And obviously, this is more so specific to the guards because you have a lot of different guards that are deserving of minutes right now at full strength. At full strength, you have Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Mack Strus is going to see some minutes at the 2 guard. Isaac Okoro will see minutes at the 2 guard. Sam Merrill, Caris LeVert, Craig Porter Jr., if I didn't already mention him. There are just so many fucking mouths to feed. And mind you, this is a good problem to have, right? I'm not pissed about it because a ton of teams would love to be in that position to have like too many cooks and having to pick and choose who actually gets minutes on any given night. But I find myself wondering continuously, out of that grouping of players, who will be the odd man left out? In my opinion, it might be closer to Craig Porter Jr. than it is Sam Merrill, because Sam Merrill is fucking dynamite out there. Like, for a team that needs 3-point shot making and size, because Merrill, let's not get it twisted. He's not like a oversized wing or anything like that, but he does boast legitimate 6'4" size, if I'm not mistaken, and he is devastating coming off of screens. He looks like Kyle Korver out there. Seriously, looks like a Kyle Korver-esque shooter. And for the Cavs to be able to pick him up the way that they did last season, just kind of like, just taking a flyer on him. And I think they signed him in early or late March of last season. I could be mistaken, but he didn't get a lot of the opportunities because he came on late, right? But for me, I find myself wondering who the odd man out is going to be. And I don't think it's going to be Sam Merrill. I think it will likely end up being Craig Porter Jr. if things continue to progress the way that they have been. As you guys probably see, my daughter down here is probably going to wake up any minute. So I'm going to try and get this out. But I don't know, man. You guys feel free to let me know in the comments. I find it very hard to bench Merrill when this team returns to full strength. And a very good point that Bob made the other day was that a player like Merrill is going to require like extended run, right? He's going to need to get into a rhythm. He's going to need to be able to take these shots in order for him to be impactful. As TuneIn says down here, I don't want to skip this comment. Hey, Damian Jones trying to get back in the rotation. You saw his performance. Yeah, like Damian, to me, when they made that acquisition, I was never of the belief that he would be in the rotation. I always felt like he was just added depth. But there was some intrigue there. He showcased an ability to shoot from range, but not with high enough volume to suggest that it could carry over the course of a season if he's in the rotation. But clearly there's some things there, and it is a decent depth piece when you're talking about size. But yeah, I mean, Damian, to see him get some run against this Washington Wizards team, that just tells you that this game went off the railroad tracks for the Wizards pretty earlier, or a lot earlier than expected. And so it's just great, man. Just honestly great performance from top to bottom. But back to my point on Merrill, like, I don't know what they're going to do. I honestly do not know what they're going to do. I don't know if there's going to be a consolidation of sorts. I don't know if somebody's going to get benched. I don't know. But it is a good problem to have. And for anybody who is clamoring for Craig Porter Jr. to see the floor more than he has recently, because tonight, the game prior, I believe against Toronto, he saw the floor for about 6 minutes. Tonight, it was 15, but more so because it was a blowout. the problem with Craig Porter Jr. is not just his size. It's the fact that Craig Porter Jr. is not yet a reliable three-point shooter. He's not a three-point shot maker in the sense that a guy like Sam Merrill is, and that's the uphill battle that he's going to be fighting. Svenry Gaming says down here, honestly, I don't want Ty Jerome anymore. I don't think you're going to get Ty Jerome, Sven. I think even when Ty gets healthy, Ty's probably going to be glued to the bench because Craig Porter Jr. has taken his opportunity and ran with it. When he's actually gotten minutes, he's been very productive. The problem with Craig is that there are honestly too many players who play his position on the roster and are actually playing it pretty well. And when I say his position, I use that very lightly because I understand that we don't necessarily have a solidified backup point guard. I get that. What I say when I mean that is that we have a lot of players capable of shooting, or not capable of shooting, capable of playing both the 1 and 2 guard. Whereas Craig can really, that's it for him. You can't give him minutes at the 3 like you can with a Caris. You can't give him minutes at the 3 like you would an Okoro or even Sam Merrill, right? Tune in says down here, but Mack, he can knock it down here and there. He can, and I don't disagree with that. Tune in. The problem is that he is not. Here go my daughter. Is that he is not yet somebody you can count on to do so. And so when he does take those step back threes, because that's what we're seeing from him, it's not necessarily like a pull up or something that a corner 3 ball or something like that. You're literally seeing him hit a maybe into shot clock step back triple, or when nobody is D'ing up on him. That's literally what you're going to see out of Craig Porter Jr., as opposed to Sam Merrill, who will literally fly off of screens and spot up in the corners and just look for the ball to come his way before receiving the ball. And for him, that's the uphill battle that Craig Porter Jr. is facing in regards to rotation minutes. And it's going to get even worse when Darius Garland comes back, and to a lesser extent, Evan Mobley, because there's just less minutes to go around in general. So somebody is going to have to be the odd man out. And considering the fact that Craig and Sam are found money anyways, right? It's not as if we were counting on these 2 guys to be included in the rotation at the start of the season. Because there was a ton of people out there, myself included, that thought that Ty Jerome would probably end up overtaking Ricky Rubio's role from last season, but unfortunately, it didn't happen that way because of the injury for him. But in the wake of that occurring, we've gotten some beautiful things, some positive developments. We've gotten Okoro becoming more of a playmaker. We've gotten Jarrett Allen becoming a fucking playmaker. We've gotten Craig Porter Jr. stepping into the backup point guard role. We've gotten Donovan Mitchell looking like a combo guard out there that we all know he can be. There's just a ton of it to go around. And so figuring out these rotations and the lineups, I continue to say this, but I really, truly mean it. I do not envy JB Bickerstaff once this team does return to full strength, because there are not going to be easy conversations to be had. Somebody is going to have to be sat on that bench. Svenrig Gaming says anyone can lose. Look at Boston and Milwaukee yesterday and today. Yeah, I mean, this is an 82 game season. You are going to lose no matter how good you are, how bad you are. You will never go undefeated. There has never been an undefeated team in the NBA, and there never will be. It's just too hard to win. And it just really doesn't matter. And on any given day, just like they say for football, any given Sunday, you can be the better team and lose. League Me Films says if Sam and Craig lined up against each other, Craig's team wins by 10 to 15. Plus, he's just he's just a better player, size or not. I don't disagree with the fact that Craig Porter Jr. is the better player. I don't think I'm gonna be able to stay on here long. But the problem is, League Me, he plays at a position where the Cavs have a lot of primary ball handlers. And if you're not adding shot creation beyond the arc, you're kind of at a disadvantage. This is not to say that Craig won't get run. It's just that on a team that kind of needs that additional spacing, they're going to take it, right? And Sam Merrill, he whether or not we choose to believe this or not, size to a degree still kind of matters in the NBA when you're talking about matchups, as you saw against Toronto. You can play Sam in more lineups than you can Craig, honestly. Yeah, as I see you also sit down here, but Sam, if a must have, so can't be mad, to be honest. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the same thing right now with somebody like an Emoni Bates, right? We're so pressed to get this young talent up here, but we have to be patient and realize that there's still a developmental window here. And although Craig Porter Jr. is coming in as an older rookie, there still is time to allow him to develop, right? Although he spent 4 to 5 seasons at the collegiate level, there are still things in his game that need to be addressed. Probably the biggest hurdle for him is going to be 3-point shot making, right? And we've seen, just like TuneIn says up there, he can make them, but he has to be confident enough to pull and take them. If he does that, if he's taking like 3 to 5 3-pointers a game and, hitting on 1 or 2 of them, that probably gets him a higher chance at getting solidified minutes in this rotation. But as of right now, there are a lot of mouths to feed, and it is not an easy riddle to solve, especially when many of these players are undersized and they don't have a lot of positional versatility. The only guy that you can really look at in this Cavs rotation off that bench and say, hey, this guy can line up at the 1, the 2, the 3, maybe even the 4 is Caris LeVert. I guess you could say Isaac Okoro, because we did see Isaac line up at the 4 to begin the year, if I'm not mistaken, in a matchup against Ben Simmons. But it's just that. It's all about matchups, in that regard. And so that is the disadvantage that Craig has working against him. But again, it's a good problem to have. I'm not pissed off that Craig isn't playing as consistently as he had been when he was starting. But, it is nevertheless an issue that JB is going to have to work around. Here's a stat that I think you guys will all love. Nobody in the starting unit played more than 29 minutes tonight. You have to love that. That was Jarrett Allen. Sam Merrill played 29 tonight too off the bench, but Jarrett Allen played just 29 minutes. And in those 29 minutes, 17 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 of 10 from the field, 2 blocks, plus 27. Jesus, man. Again, nobody in that starting unit played more than 29 minutes. For a team that needs to get its starters rest in many of these games, you absolutely love tonight because you didn't have to grind these guys out. No, most importantly, Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell only played 24 minutes tonight, and he still scored 22 points. Didn't necessarily shoot the ball too well. 6 of 16 from the floor, but he did shoot very well from range. 4 of 9 from 3-point distance, 6 of 6 from the line. And so you will take that in a win any day of the week. For people who complain constantly about Donovan Mitchell being driven into the ground. And so I love that. Right? Because that means, one, that you didn't have to rely on him to create much of the offense tonight. Although there were points tonight where, especially in that first quarter, where Washington is just making some ridiculous shots and the closeouts weren't as crisp as you would like on the defensive end, where you needed Donovan Mitchell to kind of pick things up. But for the game as a whole, Donovan Mitchell was not asked to be the to do it all guy that we've gotten accustomed to seeing him being. Like, it just wasn't the case. And I think the absolute 180 from that, or the antithesis of that, would probably be the game against Toronto, right? Donovan kept us in that game, and tonight it just wasn't the case. And so you will take that, if you're a fan of this Cavaliers team, any day of the week. 3 players off the Cavalier bench played 20 or more minutes tonight. You had Merrill with 29, Niang with 28, LeVert with 23 minutes, 21 points in 23 minutes, mind you. That's phenomenal. Tristan Thompson wasn't far behind. He got a lot of late run because it was such a big blowout. 19 minutes, 7 points, 9 rebounds. I like to do this from time to time, where I listen to the opposing team's broadcasting group. And, there's a couple things that stuck out to me watching, just listening into them. And one, it was their comments on Mack Strus, who they just could not believe were torching them tonight. And the other was how just and all they were at Tristan Thompson. The old story goes of Tristan Thompson changing his shooting hand, right? In regards to free throws. And so I absolutely love that. Tristan Thompson still providing big impact off this Cavaliers bench at 32 years of age in a season where, much of us, myself included, I won't lie here, when they brought him back, I was like, this is probably about locker room presence and depth than a true rotation piece. But Tristan has been pretty great in just about every real opportunity to see the floor that he has gotten. Couldn't be any happier from top to bottom. And so when this Cavs team does return to full strength, there are some things to figure out, right? There are going to be people who will see this win and say, hey, it's the fucking Wizards. Nobody cares. But in my opinion, it's a win, right? You get to put the win in the win column and continue to move up the standings, things of that nature. You have to beat the teams that you are supposed to beat, obviously, but any win to me is important. And so I love the fact that they were able to, first of all, do that. I love the fact that they were able to get the starters rest. And I love the fact that they were able to get guys going who hadn't been going over this recent stretch of games, i.e. Mack Strus. I think that's a perfect way to end tonight before my daughter goes off on me, as I'm sure she's probably about to. So I'm going to head out of here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you want to check me out, you know how you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of said review to itscavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. That said, go Cavs and have a good night. Thanks.